My name is Jen Cushman. I am an empathic intuitive, and I am a Reiki master teacher. I am a master practitioner of neurolinguistic programming, mental emotional release, and hypnotherapy. And then I've got other things in there like certified angel card reader and certified therapy, art therapy coach, and other things. I'm one of those that I love to learn. So as long as I'm learning, I like to collect certifications, right? I don't know if anybody else is like that, but if you are, raise your hand and just say, yep, I'm like that. So that's who I am. Okay. And what I am really here to talk about today, and what my team wanted me to talk to you about, my spirit team, is I wanted to talk to you about happiness. So, we all get it, right? Happiness is a fundamental desire of every human being. So much so that happiness made it into the first paragraph of our United States Constitution, right? Happiness. Now, it's really interesting because when I was on my family vacation, right, I told you this last week, we were in the gypsy van, 2 weeks, me, my husband, my son, my daughter, and we were camping in a lot of places. So we were off grid. There was no cell reception, no internet, no TV, just us and the beautiful redwood trees, and really just sitting down, being a family together, and lots of time to just be together and have conversation. Well, my son, who is 23, we started talking about the subject of happiness because it's one of my favorite subjects. And he was mentioning, he's the one that brought it up, that it's really interesting that in the United States Constitution, it talks about the pursuit of happiness. And he was saying how interesting it was that even way back then, happiness is not a guaranteed right. The US Constitution talks about our guaranteed rights that we have as human beings. And one of them is the pursuit of happiness and not happiness itself. So if you extrapolate that and you really look at that, happiness is one of the things I say, that it's an inside job, right? Happiness is an inside job. And it's really the pursuit of happiness is what is our God-given right? Or our spirit-given right, or whatever it is. So in order to be happy in life, which is something we all want, it is like building a muscle. It is a pursuit. And like anything else, we can get really good at happiness. Okay, we can. And I'm here to tell you right now that you can get to a place in your life. If anybody on here is not consistently living happiness in your life, you can get to a place of happiness. And it's like working out, right? So happiness can be like a muscle, and you can build it the same way you build your muscles and you build your stamina. Okay. So that's really what I want to talk to about, the pursuit of happiness today. Okay, I hope you're with me. Now, I'm going to be bringing up some neuroscience things right now, because that's one of the things my team said to me. And I'm going to try to take this neuroscience, right, these concepts of neuroscience, this big brainy stuff, and I'm really going to do my best to condense it and simplify it. So with my team's help, and when I was doing my meditation this morning, we were talking a little bit about it, because I usually go into meditation, and then when I'm in that quiet place, that's when I can feel it. I can feel my higher self is in with me. And that's when I can actually start having back and forth conversations with my guides and angels. So I was having a back and forth conversation with them this morning about how to present this information today. Oh, you guys, there's 13 people on right now. My favorite number other than 11 and 22, right? Okay. So here's what I want to tell you about happiness. Okay. I'm going to give you a little bit of brain science right now. Okay. And I've talked about this before, so it's just going to be a review for you guys, but open your ears, okay? So this comes from my neurolinguistic programming training. Now, as I'm going to tell you this, I've been studying metaphysics for 25 years, and I love it. So I love concepts of metaphysics. I love law of attraction. I love all of this. And it was when I hit my NLP, my neuroscience training, as opposed to my metaphysical training, that all of a sudden this really helped click into place for me. So that's what I'm going to share with you right now. Okay. Okay. Every single day in modern life, every single second of every single day, we are bombarded with a lot of information. There's a massive amount of data that comes into us every single second that we have in our life. Now, a lot of that data is important information on to us, and yet our minds, our conscious thinking minds, is not able to capture and absorb that massive amount of data. Okay, so here's a piece of data that comes in every second that goes into our unconscious mind instead of our conscious mind. The weather, okay, the air, is it cool, is it hot? You know, what is it, what does it feel like on our skin, right? That's a piece of data that is important to us, because that piece of data is going to tell us how to dress. Obviously, it is summer and it is hot. So today I put on a short sleeve shirt. I put on my overalls today, right? In the winters when I'm doing these things, it's obviously cooler. So that's a piece of data. Our conscious mind doesn't need to grab that piece of data because it has a very limited capacity of what it can focus on at any given moment. So that data, a lot of that data just goes into our unconscious mind, because our unconscious mind job is to run the body, okay? So a lot of those things goes into our unconscious mind. And that is our habits, our routines, our things that we do every single day. That is the job of our unconscious mind to take care of. And then our conscious mind, our thinking brain, that is to really take all this data and be able, in a very short amount of space, to be able to take this data and use it to do what we are supposed to do in our life, okay? So, so one of the things our brain does is, in a neuroscience way, our brain takes all this data coming in, 2 million bits of data, 2 million bits of information that comes in every second, and it filters it. It takes most of it and it instantly, like a computer, filters it. Now, how does it filter it? It filters it in 3 ways. It deletes it, it distorts it, and it generalizes it. Now, I know I'm going to get to happiness. It doesn't sound like it. Bear with me. Open your ears. Just try to listen, okay? This is going to be a good one for you to go back and possibly listen to again and again if it interests you. So our brain deletes, distorts, and generalizes, okay? Delete is really easy. There's information that comes in and our conscious brain says, no, that is not important to me right now. I just don't need to hear it. I don't need to see it. How many times have you guys heard that saying that says, oh my gosh, if it was a snake, it would have bit me, or as clear and plain as the nose on my face, right? Those are perfect language patterns that we have that explains how our brain will delete something, right? Completely delete it. That's one. Distort it, right? Well, wait a second. Let me go to generalize because it's easier. So generalizing means that our brains see a pattern and it links it together. So it's like, oh, A looks like B, looks like C, looks like D. All of these things have enough similarities in common. So I'm just going to link those all together because this is how I've handled it in the past. And I know this is how I handle it. So it just generalizes it. So it takes all things and just kind of lumps it in like a pile of laundry before it gets folded out, right? Things that are similar, panties, socks, underwear, shirts, whatever, just kind of puts them all into a general pile and says, I know what to do with this. Now, distortion is very interesting. So distortion is our patterns, it's our programming, right? It goes back into the way we were raised, things we were told, and a lot of our emotional baggage, past hurts, past anger, past sadness, things that have happened to us tend to go in that distortion category, okay? I'm not going to go there because that is a much deeper topic. Okay. So just know 3 things our brain does with the information is delete, distort, and generalize. Got it? Everybody got it? If you do, give me a thumbs up. Okay. So that is what's going on. Now, how this relates to happiness, okay, is our brain is working. It's like this constant computer, right? So it is constantly running, it is constantly going. And the reason why it is important for our brain to do these things is because I talked about this last week. I talked about why I was doing the traveling, because I was building my capacity. I was purposely wanting to build my capacity and my energy because I want to be able to do things and have energy to do all the things that I want to do. So our brain is doing these things in order to work on our capacity, our energy levels. What are we able to do in any given day? Because our body has capacity, right? And it's like, I believe that we have limitless capacity with our body and our mind. And I also believe that we need to build into it. Okay. So this goes into the capacity. So our thinking brain has certain things that we need to focus on. Okay. So let's take it back to what's happening in your day. And I've talked about this before. So let's say that you are having a day and a lot of things are happening that are just not the greatest, right? I've talked about it. It's like, you wake up and you get a phone call from a friend that somebody's ill, or somebody that has passed away, right? That's instantly going to put you into a lower vibrational state of maybe sadness or concern or worry or fear, right? That's what's going to do that. Let's say that you're not really paying attention and you're driving to work and you're not hearing, because our brain's deleting information, you're not hearing that car rattle, or you're not seeing, for me, the elk on the side of the road, right? So that's what's happening. So there's delete and generalizations going on. And so then something happens, cause and effect, something happens, and it just starts, and then it starts to rumble and you're having a bad day, okay? That is not in happiness. That's pretty far from happiness. So what happens is our brain is concentrating, our 126 bits, we're concentrating on the things that are not so great right now. That's just what's going on, so we're focusing on that. And remember what I said over and over again, right? Energy flows where focus goes. Energy flows where intention goes. So when your brain and those 126 bits is focusing on the negative, or the focusing on the not so fun things that are happening, there is literally, from a neuroscience perspective, there is literally no other capacity in your brain to bring in the higher vibration of goodness, joy, happiness, all of those other things. It's like you can't overfill a full container. Got it? Again, if you're hanging with me, give me the thumbs up, okay? So that's what's going on from a neuroscience perspective, okay? So what do we do about it? What do we do? How do we go from a state of confusion or anger or fear or frustration or irritation? And how do we go from these states, which are lower vibrational states, to get into a higher vibrational state of happiness, right? So the first thing we need to do is we need to become aware of what is happening to us. And one of the best ways to get awareness is to actually start having somatic awareness. Our bodies are always telling us what is going on, always. If you're getting a headache, that's a sign. If you're getting a stomach ache, that's a sign. If your body is feeling irritation, but let's say we're feeling it in the back of our neck, stress, right? We're feeling it in our neck and shoulders because that is a place that we feel it. Our body is saying, hello, McFly, from like Back to the Future. Something is going on here. Pay attention to me, right? So if we can start to feel what's going on instead of just generalizing it or deleting it or distorting it, and we can actually feel what's happening in the moments, then we can bring awareness to it. So awareness is really the first step in shifting things out for us, right? So awareness. Once we can get to awareness, then we can bring that up and become aware of it in our unconscious to our conscious. We can become aware of it. And then we can start to ask ourselves questions, right? You can be like, what the heck's going on? Why is this happening? Like, yes, I woke up with a phone call this morning that it wasn't particularly the greatest going on. And you know what? Something triggered me, like something affected me, and then it just kind of made things spiral. So if you can get to awareness, then you can get to the next level where you can start asking yourself questions. Is this real? What's going on? What am I feeling? Why am I letting this state affect me? Why am I staying in this state? You know? And then from awareness, you can move, you can literally start shifting your state, and you can start moving things through so you can focus that 126 bits on more of what you want to bring in, right? If happiness is something you want to live on a daily basis, you need to figure out a way to bring your neuroscience into a state that you can be more receptive to joy. You can be more receptive to the things that make you happy. Okay? Let me see. I tried to make this simple. You guys, was that a simple explanation or was that a complicated explanation? And if you have any questions, drop them in the chat so I can answer them here. Okay? So living more joyfully every day, right? Joyful happiness is a high vibration. It's a good vibration. And even higher vibration of happiness is joy. The highest vibration of joy is bliss. Now, few of us get to live in bliss states. We can tap into bliss, but it's not really a vibration we can hold very often. Now, joy, once you get through happiness, you understand what happiness is, and then we can get into a state of joy. To consistently live happiness every day is to understand what is going on with you, being aware and knowing what is going on, and then choosing to get into a higher vibrational state, okay? Choosing to shift things out. Now, the last thing I want to tell you is one of the biggest things that keeps us from living our happiness every day and living our joy every day is our programming, right? It's like the gunk, right? I don't know if you guys know, but my husband for a while, he was told, and I know this seems really funny, but it is a funny example. So my husband is always, he's such a motorhead, right? And he is always looking to increase the efficiency of our vehicles. That is just a thing for him. So a long time ago, a guy told him about, I think it's magical mystery motor oil or something, marvelous magic motor oil. And it's an additive that you can actually add to the gas tank that is safe for the gas tank. And it actually clears out the gunk, right? So it makes the engines work more efficiently. So the same thing is that if you can consistently get to a state where you're consistently living happiness, then you can start doing, you can feel it and you can do an up level work, right? You can up level to where you're clearing the gunk, right? You can actually put additives into your tank, into your brain chemistry to help you consistently live in a much higher vibrational state, a more positive state. And you do that by figuring out how your unconscious mind is living. It's bringing up the emotional baggage, the limiting beliefs, the feelings, the emotions, those kind of things, right? So that is like an up level thing to do, to get from more consistent happiness into the state of joy. Those are things that you can learn. Like you can learn them by reading, books. You can learn them by doing programs. You can learn them by doing Magic Mondays with me. I'm keeping an eye on the time. I've got to wrap this up soon. That is a second state of consciousness. But to more consistently live happiness, understand what is going on with your body, understand what is going on with your brain, your unconscious mind, your conscious mind, and find awareness. And then after awareness of it, ask yourself the deeper inquiry questions. And let's just see about getting there, build the muscle. Happiness and building happiness is a muscle and you can do it. Okay? Okay. That was the Love and Learn today, and hopefully that was helpful. And just to wrap it all up, big picture, why is happiness important? Because we all want it. We all want to live a happier life. And remember, happiness is not a God-given right? A spirit-given right. Happiness is the pursuit of happiness, and it means it is something that you need to work towards if you want it. Okay, like anything else, we must figure out who we are, what we're doing, what we really, really, truly want in our life, what makes us happy. You know, that's the other question. What do you love to do? What is it that really makes you happy? And then find time in your life to take action on your happiness. I recognize that art really makes me happy. Coming back from the Oregon Country Fair, I really am an artist, and making and doing creativity really makes me happy. So I needed to take action on that. So I called my friend Carol because I knew that I needed a little bit of assistance. And I called my friend Carol and I'm like, hey, you want to get together for a couple of hours to make art and talk? And that's what we did, right? You know, it's true. Heather's story is here. I'm so happy here. You're here. That makes my heart happy, Heather, that you came in. Happiness is a choice, and happiness is a state, and happiness is also a process, right? There is a process for happiness. And that's what I wanted to talk about today.